It was a rush for gold and a rush for rematches. I'm John Retlin with my review of WWE Clash of Champions 2020. Look, some of it was actually pretty goddamn good. Way better than I expected, but then again, my expectations were in the goddamn Earth's core. But some of it really didn't need to happen. You could have trimmed 3 matches off of this show, just saved them for Raw, and you wouldn't have missed shit. It would have been like in your house Clash of Champions. So, first thing I want to address. Nia, Shayna, Nikki Cross not medically cleared. I get that they can't exactly say what's gone on with some of this stuff due to certain rules, but Vince McMahon just will not address the fact there is a pandemic, there is something going on his television when AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, so many others address why that this stuff is going on and why these certain safety measures are in place. But now Vince McMahon, given who his friend is in the White House, I'm not really fucking surprised that he wants to live in his own goddamn little bubble and hope that the thing goes away or maybe it's a hoax or whatever. And I don't care if people want to get fucking offended because I decide to call out the bullshit of the president in the White House. I will continue to do that because as somebody that is American, I can state my opinions, just the same as you can state your opinions in the comments. But if you support Donald Trump, I don't fucking care because you're a fucking idiot. And I'm going to call you a fucking idiot. I call family members of mine an idiot. You think I fucking care what you guys think? I care what the smart people think. So anyway, Clash of Champions. It was a good show overall. It wasn't a great show. There was some good storytelling. One match where some people almost literally died 5 or 16 times. I know that's not how math works, but anyway, so the kickoff panel, Charlie irritates MVP during an interview, and then Kayla is in on the tag team celebration between Cesaro and Nakamura, but they haven't had their match yet. And then Truth is a gold prospector. There's gold in them there hills. Remember the Bugs Bunny Yosemite Sam cartoon about, where he would get the sensation that gold was around? That actually would have reminded me of. I don't know what he's on about. And then Booker's command of the English language is second to none. If said none was a lobotomized skunk. Booker T has not made sense on commentary or on kickoff panels for about the last 10 years. But anyway, Cesaro and Nakamura versus Team Do a Good Lucha thing. It's Kalisto and was it Dorado? Was it Dorado? I actually totally forgot because this match didn't mean anything. It was for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Not bad. It just wasn't something I cared about. I mean, and unfortunately, I think this feud's going to possibly continue, or we're going to get the 3 members of Team Do a Good Lucha thing, aka Lucha House Party, feuding, and all 3 Human Centipede together in a feud that nobody will care about, that belongs on 205 Live, because all due respect to people on 205 Live, not a lot of people watch it, which is unfortunate. But anyway, it was fine. I just didn't care. I just didn't really care at all. Kalisto got pinned after a swing into a Kinshasa. Cool, whatever. It was what it was. And then Cena does the opening narration. We couldn't see who the narrator was. We could hear him, but we couldn't see him. Those jokes will continue to haunt Cena, but then again, he kept doing the whole you can't see me, wah ha ha, stuff for years. So, Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn. Winner takes all match for the Intercontinental Championship. It's a ladder match, and is Jeff dead? Like, legit, is Jeff dead? Are any of these guys still alive? I do have that question. I am not a big fan of car crash matches. I've criticized AEW for them, but I've also praised a lot of what AEW's done. And, the same with any other promotions over the years. Car crash matches like this usually don't work. I will say this is one of the more inventive ladder matches that I've seen in a while. Now, I wasn't totally sold on Sami Zayn being the uncrowned or the never lost it Intercontinental Champion, the true Intercontinental Champion, because I was like, okay, they're just going to have him lose it. They didn't do that. Also, Jeff Hardy. I said he wasn't going to be walking in 5 years. That's now down to 2. In fact, it may be 2 months because the way Jeff Hardy takes bumps, Jeff is 43 fucking years old. Jeff wasn't even able to walk all that well at 33. I don't know how the hell he's moving at 43. And I'm sure he's getting paid quite a bit of money. I'm sure all 3 of these guys are getting paid quite a bit of money. But goddamn. And by the way, the Thunderdome setup is absolute shit. I mean, the fireworks are cool, but the dubbed-in crowd noise just fucking kills it. But the ping-pong bouncing, Sammy bouncing like a few times on the ladder like crazy. Jeff, his ribs went into the, foundation of a ladder, the support. Ouch, that looked like it really hurt. It was a car crash, but I will not say that it was boring. In fact, I will say this was the best match of the night. Closely followed by both the men's championship matches. But I'm going to have some other praise for one of the women's matches. So yeah, Jeff just, at one point, he was like getting tipped over on a ladder, and the ladder was up like this. So Jeff starts to crawl down this part, and Sammy tips it, and then Jeff just topples over, and the ladder just sandwiches right on him. And apparently Jeff died for about 5 minutes, which I wouldn't have been surprised by, but good fucking God. Swanton to Sammy sometime later, and he just slams Sammy through a ladder, slamming Sammy Knights. The fake "this is awesome" chants kind of took me out of it. That was unnecessary. And then Sami Zayn's like, hey, I'm just going to, get handcuffs out. It is cuffing season. I know that's not what it means. Don't look that up if you don't know what it means. But he takes handcuffs and puts one through the earlobe, the gauged earlobe, because gauging your ears to that level is kind of bad. I mean, it just kind of leads to shit like this. You're going to get handcuffs through your ears and you're going to get handcuffed to a ladder. Don't do that, kids. Don't do that. That's a really bad thing to have happen. You also need to make sure that you have a key for, said handcuffs if that happens. What am I even on about anymore? He gets a ladder handcuffed to his ear, so he has to do that. It's fucking ridiculous. And then he cuffs himself to Styles, and then Sammy has a key in his mouth. Pretty damn inventive. And then Jeff has a ladder on his ear and is trying to fight this stuff off. And then Styles is trying to fight with Sammy. And then Zayn ends up winning. Now, I'm not complaining about it. This is the one match I got wrong. I thought Jeff Hardy was going to win, but Jeff Hardy doesn't need the Intercontinental Championship or any championship. Don't you fucking dare give him the Universal Championship. He does not need to be that. Hell, put him on SmackDown. Don't make him WWE Champion again. That didn't work out so well the last time. But Sami Zayn wins. This was pretty fucking inventive. It was quite good. It was a lot better than I expected. So, then Truth got pinned by Gulak. More 24/7 bullshit. So we're going right back down to earth because while the ladder match was a spectacle, maybe not everybody's cup of tea, it was pretty goddamn good. And then we have Tom, Byron, and Joe on commentary. Good to see them back. And then we get Asuka versus Zelina. Raw Women's Championship. Surprised by this because it got more time than I expected. Zelina actually can wrestle. Has not been able to display that, but can actually wrestle. They crafted a good match here. It was longer than I expected. Ironic because Zelina is so short. But she did some good stuff. Asuka was being cocky, and then a bridge by Zelina with, some good scissoring from behind. That's right. I'm going to point that out in every match that happens. And then she does some good stuff targeting the arm, and Asuka kept selling the arm, and then we get Asuka locked for the win. And then it looked like Asuka was going to get a handshake. Nope. Zelina does this, and then Asuka goes to do it, and Zelina football kicks her. This feud's going to continue. Okay. Zelina should not take the title from Asuka, but this is a good way to elevate her. So, pretty good. Then we get Apollo with Ricochet versus Lashley with Shelton and MVP U.S. titles, sponsored by the movie Antebellum. If you get it, you get it. I didn't care about this match. Full Lashley for the win. It wasn't it was bad, I just seen it enough times. Apollo has feuded with the Hurt Business for seemingly 5 years, despite the fact Apollo has only been with the company for 5 years, and the Hurt Business just got put together a few months ago. So then we get Garza and Andrade versus the Street Profits. 2 girls, choose your own adventure cup. And, yeah, there's a feud that's been going on since before Mania, and it feels like about 18 years. Garza may have gotten hurt. Hopefully he is going to be okay. Apparently he was being looked at by staff. And then it was a botched 3 count, and Andrade got pinned. Yeah, he didn't get pinned because he kicked out. If they continue this feud, if Garza's actually okay, and it was just like, something where he's actually going to be fine, they have a rematch tomorrow on Raw, I may pull my hair out, which, as you see, there isn't all that much there. So maybe I'll just have to, I don't know, just really, really pull my hair out. We don't need to see this feud continue. I hope Garza's okay. This match did not need to happen, though. And just, again, hope Garza's okay. So, we're getting, then we get Truth pinning Gulak to win the 24/7 championship, because we need more bullshit. If they had cut this stuff out, this pay-per-view would have ended 10 minutes before it did. Oh, by the way, we're getting a draft on SmackDown October 9th, and then Raw October 12th. That's not going to solve anything, guys. It's going to just take pieces, rearrange the furniture around the house, unless you get rid of Bruce and Vince steps down. And I don't even fucking know. Triple H ain't going to say the goddamn thing. But unless you get a whole different upper management, thing going, you're not going to change anything. It'll have some fresh matchups for like 2 months until they run through them. Because Vince McMahon doesn't care about formatting good television anymore. SmackDown's been... it has been a strong indicator of that. Raw has been a really strong indicator of that. But that being said, hey, it'll be interesting to see where everybody goes. And then Bayley does an open challenge. I'll challenge anybody. Could have been Dana Brooke. Nikki Cross couldn't have been there because, she came down with something that they can't fucking mention. So they have just had somebody from NXT. Casey Catanzaro, Caden Carter, Xia Li, somebody. Nope, Asuka. They have Asuka come out. I love Asuka. Didn't need to happen. They could have had Dana Brooke go out there. Like, Dana Brooke could have, solved just as much of a, could have solved, the whole thing right here and just been beaten in like 5 minutes. And nothing against Dana Brooke. I mean, she's not great, but she's improved. Then again, she couldn't have really gotten any worse. I mean, Lana's gotten a lot worse because she's Lana and she shouldn't be in wrestling. But that being said, they could have done something other than have Asuka there because they do a DQ. And suddenly, Bayley gets attacked by somebody out of nowhere. It's Randy Orton. No, it's Sasha Banks in a neck brace, a soft collar, as Cole called it. I'm going to go on record right now and say that Michael Cole is one of the worst long-tenured commentators that has ever existed in wrestling, topped only by Josh Matthews. Michael Cole's an abomination to commentary. He's fucking rotten. Yeah, he's fine with Vince and screaming in his ear. You know what? The last time he was any good was about 2006. And, we're almost 15 years. We're going to be 15 years past that at this point. Real soon. It's fucking bad. Michael Cole needs to be off of commentary. He's not any good. Somebody said, oh, he's the voice of a generation. Well, good. That generation's unfortunately been raised, on some of the worst commentary that's ever existed. So, yeah, they do a DQ, and Sasha returns, and I'm supposed to care about this. Look, I give them credit for trying to do long-term storytelling. They'll have the match at Hell in a Cell. Those women will kill it. They will do their best. I just don't fucking care about the feud. I don't. Sasha was continuing to sell her neck while beating down Bayley. So, okay, at least there was that. And then she gets a cane at one point and starts whipping her, so we get 12 years of Sasha, and then we get to Orton versus McIntyre. And shout out to Catwoman 13 for this emergency medical wagon match, not the ambulance match. So, it's for the WWE Championship. They built the feud decently, and I actually was surprised by how much I enjoyed this. I'm of two minds on how they booked this, though. Tom Phillips says, one of the most sinister stipulations in WWE history. Tom Phillips called the eye for an eye match that happened at Extreme Rules. Remember that? The horror show at Extreme Rules. And this is the most, one of the most sinister stipulations. What was the last ambulance match anyway? Kane versus Cena? Or was it Cena versus Ryback? I think it might have been Cena versus Ryback. Remind me. Answers in the comments, because I actually kind of forgotten. So it looks like, Drew's selling his jaw and everything shortly into the match. Oh no, Orton's going to get him. And then suddenly somebody grabs his foot. It's Big Show. He pulls down his, face mask and then choke slams Orton through the announcer's table. So the ghosts of Orton's past are coming back to haunt him. I get why they did it, but at the same time, Drew could have won this without that happening. I mean, I'm of two minds on it. I get why they did it, but I really have no desire to see Orton. Orton, was going to do anything to get a title shot. Sure, okay. But I don't really feel any differently about Big Show than I did before. And then, why was there a chair in the ambulance and why was it a Swiss chair? That's the thing about Swiss. I asked a friend of mine that lived in Switzerland, what is the great thing about living in Switzerland? He says, well, the flag is a big plus. Moving on. So, we get... Drew ends up hitting the Claymore kick, but kicks the door off, so it's more like a clay door kick. I can hear the collective groans going on right now. And backstage, suddenly Christian attacks Orton. Christian getting his licks in on Randy Orton was an actual line from commentary. And then, so Christian actually gets in some shots, doesn't take any bumps because he shouldn't at this point with all the concussions. And they battle back out, Drew and Orton do. They get under the windshield. Second windshield spot we've seen in the last couple weeks. The best friends versus Santana and Ortiz. That one was pretty goddamn violent. And Drew got cut pretty damn bad there. Cut on his elbow. Good amount of blood. And they're on the ambulance. And then Drew falls all of 2 feet off the ambulance. Long live the king. And then he shoves him off. And then suddenly, Shawn Michaels, somehow with one good eye, managed to get up onto the ambulance and super kick Orton and then toss him off the ambulance. Cool. Did Orton was Orton able to spot Shawn at all? Shawn is not exactly quick at 52 years old or whatever he is. I'd actually 52. I actually think he's in his mid 50s by now. But still, why Shawn just suddenly visit? I know more Ghosts of the Past and stuff like that. Maybe I'm being too critical, but I think it's just overbooked. And it was a little unnecessarily overbooked. Hey, we didn't have any appearance from the group that calls themselves Retribution. So, we get, Orton RKO, or an RKO onto the floor, that is. It looks like Orton's going to get the victory. No. Drew's like, no. It's like pushing the door out. It's like, stop it. No, go in the ambulance. No, it's trying to do that. And then a Claymore kick, and then it looks like Drew's going to win, and then he suddenly pulls Orton back out, pulls the Viper out so he can kick the tip off with a punt that he totally fucking whiffs. I don't want anybody actually kick, but it was just totally fucking whiffed. It was a good idea in theory. Kinda, I guess. And then he wins, and Flair then drives away the ambulance with a cracked windshield. To be fair, that's not the worst impaired vision Flair has had while driving. Is Flair legally allowed to drive? I mean, at this point, with all his health issues, would you trust him to drive? He'd probably be one of the safer drivers in Florida, especially among old people, but still. So, Hell in a Cell is going to be October 25th. Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns, Universal Championship match. A shirtless Reigns, and suddenly a lot of wrestling Twitter, at least the wrestling Twitter I was following, were going absolutely insane. Seriously, you fucking horn dogs, what the hell? I mean, come on, guys. I run a clean show. I don't, but come on, guys. Seriously. Yes, he wrestled shirtless. Woohoo. He also needs new music, which I'm sure he'll get when the draft happens. And then, it was about the story. I will say this match went longer than I expected, and my one criticism is I don't think it needed to go as long as it did. Yes, it was to establish Reigns as a man that would do anything, beat up his own family, to insert his dominance, and man, all this cousin-on-cousin fisting action, it's the second most violent fisting among cousins I've seen on the internet, and you don't want to know about the first. But all I will say is this, it was pretty good. Jey did have some close near falls, but Reigns just beat the shit out of him. That's really what it was. And then he hits a splash. Jey hits a splash, and then 1, 2, and then Reigns just, when he kicks out, he just uppercuts Jey right in the goddamn balls. Man, cousin-on-cousin action, now we get ball falling. Like, what the hell's going on here? I mean, I know Florida's got some Southerners and some inbred people, but come on. All due respect to the Southerners, not the inbreds, you sick fucks. So, I hear dueling banjos all of a sudden. So, spear, and he says, call me your chief. So much fisting, so much goddamn fisting. What am I on about anymore? And Jimmy comes down with the towel. Which one is married to Naomi, by the way? Is it Jimmy or Jay? I don't remember. Is it Jay? I don't know. I don't know and I don't care. But they were kind of trying to... This is why I wore the Bret Hart shirt, by the way, because it kind of reminded me of how they were trying to do the throw in the towel thing, except they didn't have the parents there to throw in the towel. And Jimmy eventually throws in the towel, even though Jay's like, no, don't do it. I got it right where I want him. It's fine. I got it right where I want him. And then... Sorry, that was a good Flair impression. And then... He tosses in the towel. Okay, you're the chief. You want to hear that, fam? You know, man, I sound so goddamn white saying that. And that was it. Reigns was happy. He fisted his cousin to death, and there we go, man. Maintains his seat at the head of the table as a tribal chief and whatever. I'm not totally sold on all this stuff, but I will give them credit for trying to do a well-crafted story. The only match that I would put on my favorite matches of the year list, though, is the ladder match. It's not that Reigns versus Jey Uso was bad, but I just won't put it on my favorite matches of the year. But I would love to know what you guys have to say in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Excuse me. Twitter handle, rather. Twiddle. Twiddly-doo. Anyway, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.